Welcome back to Stats That Exist But Do Not Matter. I am not Jimmy O'Brien. I am not Jake Storielli. I am Jack Oliver, aka Jolly Olive. You might know me from YouTube. You might not know me at all, but I love this series and I'm very happy to be doing it for the first time. However, we're talking about a topic that I don't really love, which is position players pitching. A lot of opinions have been shared on this. I know for a fact John Boy doesn't like it. Jerry Blevins, my co-host on Shea Station, does not like it. But let's talk about it because it kind of seems like position players are taking the mound more often than ever before, sometimes on like a nightly basis, and it's really taking away from it being special. They're being called on to pitch in games that aren't even out of reach. I mean, just last week, my Mets, they went to LA, they took on the Dodgers. Manager Dave Roberts was barred from bringing in a position player, Zach McKinstry, to pitch because his team wasn't losing by enough runs, which is a rule that basically nobody knew except for my manager, Buck Showalter, so I'd love to see that. But just how much more common is it for position players to pitch this season compared to others? Well, we have some stats that exist. Do they matter? Let's find out. The number of position player pitching appearances by year, that's a lot of P's, ignoring the 2020 pandemic season for the last 5 years. This year, right now, it's 24 and counting. That's on pace for 80 on the year. In 2021, it was 95 guys taking the mound who are not pitchers. 2019 was 90, 2018 was 65, and 2017, if you want to know where things switched up, that was 36. So a huge jump in 2018. As recently as 2011, only 8 position players took the mound the entire season. So 2011, when you saw a position player on the mound, it was very special. Nowadays, it's much more frequent. 8 different position players pitched during the last week of May, including Giants outfielder Luis Gonzalez, who pitched twice in that week and 3 times on the season already. My Mets saw him as well. Currently, MLB is on pace for position players to make about 80 appearances, as I mentioned before, though the rate is climbing every week, so who knows if that number is actually accurate. It's likely that this is the season that pitchers get more and more worn out because of the weird offseason, so that number is probably going to go up if we're being realistic here. And unlike in the past, this year position player pitchers are actually pitching in games that their team is winning, which is kind of not really the notion of them pitching in the first place. So like if you already hate it in the first place, you definitely don't want to see it when they're winning. It's just odd. It's not good for the game depending on who you are, but anyways. Typically, position players only come into games in blowout losses, as we talked about before, but now they're just pitching to give the real pitchers a rest, which I guess is strategic, but come on, man. During the month of May, 4 position players were used to close blowout wins, the most notable one being Albert Pujols, who closed out a 15-6 Cardinals win. Hanser Alberto also did it for the Dodgers. Dave Roberts absolutely loves this move. Yadier Molina did it too, and I kind of like that because it's, a couple Hall of Fame guys getting to pitch. That's pretty fun to see, so that was cool. Alberto did it twice, though. Dave Roberts, relax. Are you kidding me? Hanser Alberto, get off the mound. That's not where you belong. Those 3 players combined to allow 9 runs in 4 innings in those outings. So guys are just stat padding against them, I guess. So good for those guys that hit home runs. Prior to this season, the last position player to pitch in a game that their own team won was Russell Martin with, you guessed it, the Dodgers in 2019. Martin pitched twice in a 2-week span during that season, and of course, Dave Roberts was their manager during that time. As we pointed out before, 4 position players pitched in wins last month. Compare that to the prior decade, that's 10 years, 2011 to 2021, a span in which 9 position players took the mound in wins. So we're already creeping up on that total as well. Will it keep happening? Probably. Doesn't matter? Maybe. That's kind of up to you to decide, and baseball fans in general. I don't like it. I know a lot of people that don't like it, but if you're into it, this is the season for you. So I hope you're thriving and enjoying it. And those were some stats that exist but do not matter. Today's episode of Stats That Exist But Do Not Matter is brought to you by Roman. Roman, it's for all the guys out there, and we have a large male audience, so this is for you. So listen up, guys. Man to man, I care about each one of you. Roman cares about all you guys as well. We want you to feel confident and to prioritize your health and your sense of well-being, and you can do that with Roman. A great place to start is your testosterone health. The experts believe that testosterone affects everything from our libido to our blood health and more. And, there's a lot of peak physical guys here. You've seen Jake's calves. You've seen a lot of the bellies around here that we're trying to thin out. Roman is helping us do that day in and day out. So if you're ready to show up for yourself from the inside out, start with Roman's testosterone support supplement. And more importantly, our testosterone levels deplete with age, and no one ever tells you that, but I am. And Roman is as well. Experts believe that testosterone affects a bunch of important parts of our overall health, like bone mass, sex drive, muscle health, and more, but their support supplements were designed by real doctors, not me, I'm not a real doctor, to make sure that your body is maintaining its greatness. So guys, go to GetRoman.com/stats today, and if approved, you'll get $15 off your first order of Roman T support. That's GetRoman.com/stats, and thank you to them for sponsoring today's episode of Stats That Exist But Do Not Matter.